From a triumphant finish to a crushing debacle, Mercedes's Belgian GP campaign was a rollercoaster ride. Who could have predicted that George Russell's race win would be so short-lived? Even though the victory eventually landed with the silver arrows, one must wonder, was it truly worth it? That question will remain open for debate. Despite a spectacular win, a single mistake marred the entire experience for the British driver, leaving a bittersweet taste after what should have been a moment of pure celebration. George Russell has spoken out about his heartbreaking disqualification from the Belgian Grand Prix, which cost him the victory at Spa. On Grand Prix Sunday at Spa, Russell faced lower than expected tyre degradation. Seizing the opportunity, he opted for a one-stop strategy and expertly managed his hard tyres to the finish, keeping Mercedes teammate Lewis Hamilton at bay. He crossed the line believing he had secured his third career victory. His win slipped through his fingers after his car was found to be underweight during the post-race inspection. Naturally, he's fuming. But could Mercedes have steered clear of this blunder? Did the one-stop strategy really eat away so much rubber that the car ended up lighter than allowed? Or was Russell too caught up in the thrill of victory to remember to pick up enough rubber on the cooldown lap? Mercedes are yet to understand what went wrong, resulting in George Russell's W15 being underweight after he crossed the line first at the 2024 Belgian Grand Prix. After George Russell's disqualification from the win following an impressive drive, trackside engineering director Andrew Chauvelin expressed the team's disappointment. He praised Russell for his exceptional performance, particularly his ability to manage the tyres and defend his position until the finish. Chauvelin acknowledged the uncertainty surrounding the car's underweight status post-race and promised a thorough investigation to uncover the reason behind it. He speculated that the loss of rubber from the one-stop strategy likely played a role. Despite the setback, Chauvelin emphasised that the team will not make excuses, recognising that the situation is unacceptable and vowing to prevent it from happening again. Chauvelin pointed to the loss of rubber as the most plausible reason why Russell's car was underweight, a theory that might best explain what happened. Typically, the four tyres of a car can shed about 1 kilogram of rubber over a single stint, a factor teams incorporate into their pre-race calculations. At Spa, the longest lap on the F1 calendar, Russell's impressive yet unexpectedly long stint could have led to even more rubber loss. Moreover, Spa's layout presents a unique challenge. There is no cool-down lap, and cars enter the pit lane at the exit of turn 1. This setup prevents drivers from picking up rubber marbles, rubber shreds that F1 cars drop during the race, which could otherwise compensate for the lost tyre weight. Adding to this, the preferred strategy going into the Belgian GP was a two-stopper. However, Mercedes and Russell improvised during the race, opting for a one-stopper instead. This strategic shift meant Mercedes might not have accounted for the additional rubber loss from Russell's hard tyres during his second and final stint. After the race, Hamilton said that he would have been more than happy to carry on with his tyres during each of his stints, but each time the team intervened. Hamilton's tone hinted at things having not been totally equal between the two drivers, and that he did not have available to him a strategy option that his teammate had managed to beat him with. From Mercedes's perspective, the differing strategies for their drivers stemmed from their slightly different circumstances, with Russell's one-stop option emerging because he was further down the order and had less to lose. Russell had been running fifth up to the first pit stops. As the front runners switched to their hard tyres, it seemed that if he followed the same strategy, he would maintain his position without making any significant gains. The minimal pace difference between the cars made it nearly impossible to advance through the order by conventional means. Recognising this, Mercedes saw an opportunity to take a gamble with Russell. Since he was further down the field, a one-stop strategy presented a chance to shake things up without risking a significant loss. This strategic gamble aimed to exploit the minimal tyre degradation and potentially vault Russell into a better finishing position, capitalising on the fact that conventional overtaking was nearly impossible. Ultimately, this decision, while bold, and ultimately leading to an underweight disqualification, demonstrated Mercedes's willingness to adapt and innovate in the face of challenging race conditions. Mercedes boss Toto later explained that, while Hamilton may have felt his tyres were in good condition at the end of each stint, the decision to pull the trigger and stop was all about him being able to maintain track position against Leclerc and Piastri, who was nudging ever closer. But as Hamilton reflects on how things ultimately played out, it is probably not lost on him now that if it is confirmed that Russell's unexpected one-stop triggered an extra degree of wear that proved decisive in making his car underweight, then he escaped something much worse by sticking to the original strategy plan, even if he was slightly annoyed at the time. Lewis Hamilton, while not keen on claiming his 105th F1 victory through another driver's disqualification, acknowledges the silver lining of the Belgian Grand Prix. Mercedes are back in the fight for race wins. Mercedes dominated the Spa circuit, with George Russell taking the checkered flag first, followed by Hamilton. He expressed empathy for Russell and mentioned that they have been back in the fight for victories in the past few races. About 40 minutes after Mercedes presented their case to the stewards, Russell's disqualification was confirmed. The stewards' report indicated that they heard from the team representative for Car 63, George Russell, the FIA technical delegate, the FIA single-seater director, and the FIA single-seater technical director. Car 63 was weighed on both the FIA's internal and external scales, both showing identical results. The team admitted there were no mitigating circumstances and that it was a genuine error. The stewards concluded that Article 4.1 of the FIA Formula One technical regulations had been breached, necessitating the standard penalty for such an infringement. Before the disqualification was finalised, Mercedes team principal Toto accepted that the team would have to face the consequences. A mistake has happened, or could have happened, Wolff stated before the decision was made. He avoided speculating on why Russell's car was underweight, but dismissed the idea of any damage causing the discrepancy. "No, I think it's a one-stop that you expect lots of rubber, maybe more to fall off the tyres, but there's no excuse," he responded when asked if anything specific might have led to the underweight issue. Wolff added, "If the stewards deem it to be a breach of regulations, then it is what it is. We have to learn from that. And, as a team, there's more positives today, especially for George, but that's a massive blow to a driver whose childhood dream is to be winning these races. It's probably taken away, but he's going to win many more." If you thought George Russell was the first F1 driver to experience such a disappointment, then sadly, you're wrong. He is one of the many drivers who've faced such an unwanted situation. Surprisingly, racing legends fill the seats at the disqualified Race Winners Club. The two most prominent names are Michael Schumacher and Ayrton Senna. The competition is fiercer than ever, and Hamilton stressed the need for hard work to maintain their momentum. It is incredibly competitive now, so they will need to work hard to battle for wins more consistently. Nevertheless, they can go into the summer break with momentum and positivity. This victory marked Mercedes' third in 4 races and their 6th consecutive podium finish, with the Brackley squad racking up 170 points in 6 races. In no time, the second phase of F1 will begin. Mercedes will now take a cautious stance, as more such debacles would affect their constructor standings. Of course, the team wouldn't like that. Moreover, they would like to continue with their recent resurgence. What do you think about George Russell's disqualification? Let us know in the comments. Until next time, goodbye for now.